morning. It is maybe the 18th of June. Yeah, the 18th of June. So it has been some time since I last recorded a video. And I think that's because I was due to have a week off. So I really had a week off, which was nice. Sort of stayed on admin and things like that, but didn't deliver with and giggles, which meant that I wasn't driving. So it was just nice to sort of step back and cut some of the normal routine things out and have a bit of a break. But we're now in June, so and quite some way into June. So the reason for the not recording since then is because my phone memory has full up, so I haven't had a chance to empty it, but also because the delivery of the project for the client that I work for has now happened. So that was really full on. Lots of things sort of had to fall onto another list for another time, because that was really busy and I was out of the house a lot or away from the office a lot, delivering physically at this event and the events. So they went really well, which is great. I think that the people that I was working with, the partners I was working with that came forth with the idea in the first place, were really happy with how it went, and sort of practically everything went as it should, which was good. So now I'm just in a position of evaluating it, trying to gather feedback from people. We're quite some weeks down the line now, so it feels like it's taken a bit longer than it should have done, but we had a meeting booked in all together and then that unfortunately didn't happen. So I've got to cobble together the report on the events, from the kind of stuff I have written and collected throughout the planning, which is fine, but I just realised that desk time is not my time is not my best friend, and I just am not at the desk. So I'm kind of barely surviving, I think, with carrying out things that are supposed to be happening, because I'm just about doing the admin to get things done and to turn up at the right places, doing the right lessons and doing the right meetings and things like that. But in terms of actually forward planning or sitting and getting into big documents and things, I'm just having a real time management crisis. I mean, there's the kind of working mum pressure of it's the last summer with both of my children at home before one goes to school, so summer term that is, and also last couple of months. So I don't want to kind of bring in extra childcare on days where I could gain more time at the desk, because I feel like I should be with them. But then and then we've also got the school settles, so we've got taking our eldest into school at random times in the middle of the day, so having to find cover for classes and things like that all just takes a bit more time, and it's more disruptive to kind of get your head stuck into things. So I feel like at the moment, I said last night to my husband that I feel like I'm a little bit of I'm spiraling a little bit, or crash landing, and it's getting worse. I need to avoid the crash landing, basically. I need to make something change so that I can press forward. Especially, I think my plan was that I'd put so many hours into this project that another client, work for the client and run on behalf of them, put so many extra hours into them that I then plan to recoup some of those hours for Wakey Arts now. But it's just the pace, but it hasn't continued. But I think I've kind of relaxed a bit of working in the evenings and stuff, so actually I haven't gained any time for Wakey Arts, because a lot of the times I was working in the evenings and sometimes at weekends to get stuff done, whereas because there's no definitive deadline for stuff, I'm just not getting it done. Or I'll sit down and be like, oh, I should probably do XYZ for the client just to tie stuff up. So I need to adjust my approach slightly, or I suppose communicate what my plan is with Wakey Arts and getting some time back, so that the person I work for, the people I work for, don't think that I'm available all the time, although it's not there and they're not asking for stuff. But it's just to be really clear, I suppose, with my plan. And then I've also just got ill, so I mean, it was inevitable and I'm sure it's going around, but I also don't want to work in the evenings because I feel coldy and more tired in the evenings. So it's a bit crazy, but I think on the surface it has been crazier, so I don't think anything's really changed, really. It just feels like maybe it's the home stuff, the school stuff, that's adding a bit of pressure, and party planning. for my daughter's 5th birthday party, which they haven't had birthday parties either of them since they were 1, deliberately, because I just haven't done that each year. We've got to done something nice as a family instead of spending like hundreds of pounds on an event that is one of many sort of thing that you go to across the year. Although everyone's different, and children ask for parties as well, but this is the first time when Holly's asked for a party. And it's also just before she goes to school, so a bit of a confidence boost for her. So I want to do it, or we want to do it. But yeah, planning for that is like, crazy. And the other thing to add is that we have just got some more funding, which is really random. I'm very grateful. But you might remember that I put an application to the local alliance group as part of Dorset Council back in March, I think it was, and I missed the deadline for the papers to be reviewed at their meeting. So then it went, and then the financial year happened, and I heard nothing. So I was like, it's weird, but maybe the answer's been given to the partners that I was working with, and it's almost like no news. Like, that's just, what's the point in sharing the fact that we didn't get it, kind of thing? We just carry on as normal. And then randomly I got an email yesterday. It's like, bearing in mind it's mid to late June, saying you've been accepted for the entire lot of funding, which is nearly 10k, which is amazing. So this is Wiggles and Giggles and the Parenthood at the centre in Ferndown, which, like, I'm only just getting like building momentum with the Barrington Centre classes, and I've soon got to deliver the Parenthood for 5 weeks in July, and we printed flyers for it, which are really good because I think I spoke to you about flyers last time I recorded. So they're all printed. They went out at Family Fest. I've had nobody formally like book onto that course, and as we know from the Totten sessions, running it as a course doesn't really work because those people want to have a weekly class, same as everybody else. But when I put in the funding applications for Dorset, it was still as a course. So we've got 20 weeks of the Parenthood at the centre and 50 weeks of Wiggles and Giggles, which is wonderful, but very close in proximity to the Barrington Centre. So I don't know how that's going to work, but they assured me it was needed. But I don't want to take away people from Barrington Centre that are just getting established. So yes, I'm not sure when that's going to start, but I basically desperately need to just like sit down and have a Wakey Arts planning day, which means I need to be really disciplined about the time that I have. I've actually called in some favours, I've just called in for some help from family for childcare, which is extra days without my children, which is a shame. But it's exceptional that we're being offered this, and that Wiggles and Giggles will then be running at Poole, Barrington Centre, Totten and the centre. So 4 Wiggles and Giggles classes a week and up to 3 Parenthood classes a week, which is crazy. So, and they're not all, like, Parenthood is, as I said, in courses, so it runs all year at Totten, but it doesn't run all year in the other places, so it won't always be 3 going on. But that is crazy, like 7 events basically to be coordinating. So I really wanted to get some core funding to get a coordinator for Wiggles and Giggles, although, as I said before, all the props and everything are in my garage, so realistically I'm always going to be the one that's like coordinating and knowing where everything is. But Becky, who is also a director on the board, has been great at getting out and delivering like wherever I send her basically, and she's been getting good feedback, like so much so that in Poole, one of the people that comes actually wants a Wiggles and Giggles birthday party, which is amazing. And like when I initially spoke about it to my husband yesterday, I said it's not really community interest company vibes because it's quite celebratory, but which is fine, obviously it's celebratory, but it's more like where is the need, where is the well-being need. But it's actually because their birthday party fell through, so they're in a slightly difficult position of like, our plans have fallen through, what do we do? My son loves Wiggles and Giggles, and I thought, actually, isn't this great? Because isn't this a revenue stream that could prop up the other stuff if we do it really well? Which, like, I'm already thinking we do balloons to start, we do the birthday cake Play-Doh, like homemade Play-Doh or sand, whatever, moon sand. There's a birthday cake themed sensory play that I've not done before with candles and things, not lit obviously. So already I'm like, yeah, easy, we could do it really easy. Like, we really picture friendly and like, you know, photographable, you know what I mean, photogenic, I don't know. So yeah, and then we probably would get more requests off the back of that, but it's just whether or not, I mean, it's a great idea, but yeah, I just had never expected it, so that's good. So yeah, so Becky's getting good feedback, and she's about to go back to work off maternity leave, so I need to work out what I'm doing, really. And then I did have an administrator, but then I got worried that all the reserves were just being eaten up by this wonderful administrator who's making such a difference. Like without Loon, I wouldn't have had my flyers, poster, new like book, even the books that they researched. I've now bought some books for Wiggles and Giggles, and yeah, it's very exciting. So they're about to take over in Poole, and then from September, when I'm dropping H at school, they'll take over the parenthood, and then I just need to work out who's delivering at the centre. It's crazy. Anyway, once again, my storage is an issue apparently, so I'm going to go before it just stops. Nice to see you and speak again and update, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.